This lesson is going to talk about domain and range, and if you'll remember from previous lessons, domain is talking about our x values, and range is actually talking about our y values. So for domain, because it's talking about the x values, we're going to write down the points from left to right, because that's the direction that we read. And as far as the range is concerned, we're going to go from the bottom y values to the top y values of the graph, looking at it graphically. So when we look at this first graph of a parabola, if we ask ourselves the question, what is the furthest point to the right of this to the left of this parabola, we would identify this point. And because we're talking about domain, we're talking about what is the x value of this point right here, which is obviously 0. Because it is a specific point, we're going to label that with a bracket. So we'd say we have 0, and then ask ourselves, how far does this graph travel to the right? Well, because of the arrows on the end, it goes forever to the right, so that would be positive infinity, and we can never equal infinity, so we would close that with a parenthesis. Now, as far as the range is concerned, you would identify your lowest point, which in this case, as the parabola goes to the right, it also goes down forever, this being stated by negative infinity. And it travels all the way to the top with the arrow to positive infinity, and closing those with parentheses. And so that identifies our graph as far as being marked on our graph, our x and our y values. Now this is also a parabola, but it will not have the same domain and range just because it's a parabola. Domain, furthest point to the left, as this parabola travels up, it travels to the left for infinity, so negative infinity. Travels to the right, positive infinity. And as far as the range, our lowest point is this point right here. The y value of this point is actually 0, and because it is a legitimate point, we would mark that with a bracket. As far as the parabola is concerned, our highest point, it goes up to positive infinity. Our next graph, as far as domain is concerned, it's similar to the last one as far as it goes to the left forever and it goes to the right forever. As far as range is concerned, this is our lowest point. Now remember, because range is talking about our y values, the y value of this point is actually 0. It goes up forever, so that's going to be positive infinity. Looking at the circle, this is our point to the furthest to the left, and so that would be a negative 3 for our domain with a bracket. Goes all the way to positive 3, that's our furthest right hand point, and that's with a bracket as well. Our range, lowest point is this point, that y value is negative 3. Our highest point is positive 3. Looking at this graph right here, as far as going to the left, this graph, no matter if it's up here or down here, is traveling to negative infinity and going to the right to positive infinity. Now, as far as the range, it's a little bit different. It starts at negative infinity because it goes down forever, and it goes all the way up to this point right here. Well, the y value of this point is going to be negative 3. There is a break in the graph, so we identify that with a union. We pick up at positive 3 and then travel on to positive infinity. Number 6, our domain, it goes to the left forever, so negative infinity, all the way to this point right here, and the value of this point is our x value, which is going to be negative 2 with a bracket. We have a break in the graph, so that's with a union. We pick up at positive 2, and the graph travels on to positive infinity. Now, as far as the range is concerned, it goes down forever, it goes up forever, so we would say it's negative infinity to positive infinity. Our 7th graph is that of a circle. You just have to be careful about your increments because it's halfway in between an increment. So as far as the left-hand point is concerned, this will be a positive one because it looks like it's approximately halfway between 0 and 2. It goes all the way to positive 7. Our range goes down to positive 1, and then all the way up to positive 7, looking at the y values. the parabola, as far as the domain is concerned, this is my furthest left-hand point. That x value is positive 3. It's all the way to the right because of the arrows. So it goes to positive infinity. Range, it goes down forever, goes up forever. So we would say that's negative infinity to positive infinity. On our ninth graph, looking at our domains, our domain in this case, our x value, as far as this line is concerned, we only have one x value. It's negative 2 for all of these points, which is there's an infinite amount of points. So in this case, because there's only one, we would identify this in braces. Because there's only one value, it would be negative 2. Your range, it goes down forever, and it goes up forever. So negative infinity to positive infinity. The 10th graph looks similar. That for your domain, it goes to the left and to the right forever, so that would be negative infinity to positive infinity. It only has one y value, a range value, which would be positive 3, but we would indicate that with braces. Number 11. The domain, it goes to the left forever, goes to the right forever. Range, it goes down forever. This is our highest points up in here. The range of that, or the y value of this portion of the graph, would be positive 3 with a bracket. Our easiest one would be number 12. That it goes to the left and to the right forever. So it would be negative infinity to positive infinity. There's no breaks in the graph. Range, it goes down forever, goes up forever. And that's what domain and range look like.